We'll see how they light up this cave. Stick them right.
This is not looking good. Today, I'm taking you into an old mine in the side of a mountain. A quarter-mile through long, dark tunnels abandoned by miners decades ago. And through a treacherous 4x4 trail out of the mine.
I made it! And so did the van. I wasn't sure she was gonna make it, but she did great. And I'm going into those mountains tomorrow.
This is probably one of the more questionable expeditions I've gone on, so I didn't go alone.
You checking it out in there? It's a comfy little spot, huh? Scoping the place out. He knows exactly where to go. That's the best spot.
It was time for sleep, for tomorrow's adventure.
Good morning. We got the van ready to go. I've got all my preparations in order. Jumper cables, air compressor, lights, GoPro, food, water, ice, all the things to change a tire. So the plan is to get to the trailhead as soon as possible because it's gonna be really hot out. The high is like 102 today, and I figure the less people the better, so getting up early and getting there early is the best practice here. We're gonna send it. Hopefully this little 4x4 all-wheel drive Astro makes it.
My off-road app says this trail has a technicality rating of 4 out of 10, but I've been duped by trail ratings before and I'm not falling for it this time. Here's a reminder that you don't need the nicest rig in the world to have fun. I bought this van for $700, rebuilt the transmission, and put a cheap 4x4 kit in it with a small lift, and it's been so much fun to off-road.
So far, she's doing great. Clearance is just perfect. I swear I was gonna hit the axle off some of these rocks. I let the air down on the tires a little bit to about 40 PSI. I think the cold pressure on the tire is 50, so far so good. This looks pretty precarious. There's a huge cliff over here, but I'm just gonna go right and I'm gonna go left. Just gonna send it.
Above all, just remember to be safe, do your due diligence, and be prepared.
That was a close one. I made it to the top. $700 van made it. Let's get inside. Who needs to buy an expensive light bar when you can get these inexpensive magnetic lights that go right on the hood of your car? We're gonna light up the cave for a very affordable price.
As you enter the mine, the air temperature drastically drops, and you feel this constant pressure of air. Mining operations began here in the 1860s and ran up until the 1930s.
It's creepy and dark.
Over the years, an extensive series of underground mines were built and eventually interconnected to form one large tunnel system consisting of 8 levels. They found great success mining veins of gold, silver, copper, and lead. Up until a strong earthquake in the early 1870s that killed 27 people and destroyed much of the structures and buildings they'd erected in the mining camps.
So I'm about a quarter mile in and the trail splits. I'm not sure which way to go. You know, if it comes to a fork in the road, which fork do you take? I'm going right.
You can still see where many of the tunnels and adits have collapsed and become blocked off by cave-ins.
Pretty sure this is where they hid the top secret government equipment testing facility.
You wonder if these old mines are left haunted by the miners lost years ago.
Conduct test back in the center of a mountain. Nobody can prove it happened. There's no reception, no lights.
I've heard stories myself, but wonder what still lingers in these tunnels.
What's down here? So dark.
I'm not ready to talk about what my friends and I saw down there, but we got scared and turned back before reaching the end. I wouldn't recommend anyone go back into that mine. Eventually, a mill site and cable car system was engineered to help carry and mine the ore. But like most mines, operations became cost prohibitive and the mine was left abandoned. Old relics still remain today, telling the story of a life once lived years ago.
Looks like this was the original roof, but not much interesting inside. This is way more interesting.
Further up the mountain, you could see one of the lower ore bins and chutes.
That's a long walk. Let's check out over here.
There was an even higher ore bin above eyesight, but I didn't make it up to the top of the mountain this time.
Apparently this is an old airport. This is a landing strip. Not sure you could land a plane on it now, but you know what you can do is enjoy watermelon on the landing strip. Because it's 1,000,000 degrees out. Just eating some watermelon. I know you want some. We were thinking about camping here tonight, but with the heat, my friends went home, the dogs were too hot, I'm too hot. It's just too hot to camp in the desert. I just bathed in my cooler water. That's how hot I am. Okay, I didn't bathe, but I was like putting some water on my arm. Whoever lives out in the desert full time, I commend you. So I think it's time to put on a swimsuit. Yep, I'm giving in, I'm heading to the lake. I might cool off in this creek right here, but either way, I need to cool down. Let's go. Can you hear that? That's the sound of water, the sound of life, the sound of hope. This creek feels so nice. I can't tell you how amazing it feels.
What's wrong with embracing your inner child sometimes? You know yours is in there somewhere. Life is short. Stop and play in the creek.
That is the desert where you go to melt. This is a desert oasis. Desert oasis. Okay, let's head to the lake.
I didn't quite make it to the lake, but I made it back to the next best thing. The river. Back in the forest. And right in time for dusk. I found a nice secluded pull-off and brought my van back to a nice and quiet resting spot.
I'm happy to report that I am back in my natural habitat in the forest. No longer 100 degrees, and I am so thankful for it. I'm just enjoying a bowl of chili, finally sitting down and relaxing, living in my van down by the river. If you know the reference and where that's from, make sure you leave me a comment down below because I'll appreciate it if you do. I'm pretty sure I could sleep sitting up right now. I think it's just purely from heat exhaustion. Just gonna take a quick nap after I eat my chili. But I think the best way to finish off this video is to actually enjoy my bowl of chili down by the river. Let's go. This is exactly what I needed after a really long, hot day. Resting and relaxing to the sound of the river. I've been trying a lot of new things lately, but I've come to the conclusion that I'm happiest living and traveling amongst the mountains and the forests by lakes, rivers, and streams. Where are you happiest? I know it's easy to forget, and I ask that question a lot, and that's why I ask it so often, because we're all so busy living life, we forget to ask ourselves, where am I happiest? And what about that place makes me happiest?
Only you can make that decision and you can make those changes. No one else will do it for you. Signing off.